It's another edition of Time About the Movies. We're looking at August 23rd, 1991. We have a lot of movies to look at today, 8 of them to be exact, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump on into it. Some of the clips that you're going to see here are not the trailers that are online. I took some TV spots, I took a little bit from the trailers here and there, just stuff so we can kind of move along. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's start with the first movie that came out, and that is Kenneth Branagh's Dead Again. Interesting how Robin Williams is all over the advertising for this, even though if you look at the credits at the end of the trailer and in the end of this TV spot, his name is not on there whatsoever. So it's very interesting that he is all over the TV spots, he's all over the trailer for this, and yet his name is not on here. It's very interesting when you really think about it. But I mean, the movie as a whole is really damn good. This is probably one of the best neo-noir thrillers of the 90s, honestly. It has a really good premise to it. Kenneth Branagh once again shows his great abilities to act and direct. He has great chemistry with Emma Thompson. You've got a great cast that also includes the aforementioned Robin Williams, but also Andy Garcia, Derek Jacobi, Wayne Knight, Campbell Scott's also in this, Christine Ebersol. Just an overall great cast, and I love the great twists and turns that this movie takes. This one does keep you on the edge of your seat. It does what a good thriller is supposed to do. It doesn't have an ending that cops out. It's got a really good ending to it, a good twist that I really didn't see coming in the end. But, yeah, it's a very good movie. It's a really well-done film. I think people should definitely check it out. If you want to see some of the best of Branagh's work, this is definitely one of his best movies, in my opinion. Dead Again. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Mickey Rourke and Don Johnson in Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. You know, you could have just had the advertising icons of Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, and you would have had a much better movie than this one is. This is another dud from Mickey Rourke, and another dud for Don Johnson, too, who are very good actors in their own rights, but they pick some really bad movies, and this one really is a bad movie. It's a really bad, poorly executed movie that just... It's just a meshing of all these other action buddy cop movies taken with a western. It's adding a western element to it, and you get this. It really doesn't work as a film. This comes from Simon Windsor, who has been a decent director. He has made some good movies. He's made some good stuff like Daryl. The next movie he would do after this was Free Willy. He did The Phantom. He did a lot of other movies. Quickly Down Under, which we looked at last year. He is a decent director, and he has made some good things, but this was just a really bad movie that just suffers on a bad script, and just Mickey Rourke and Don Johnson just picking these terrible scripts and not really doing anything to really... They're not doing anything to really show their great abilities as actors and charismatic actors. Like, Don Johnson was great on Miami Vice, but every movie that we've seen after Miami Vice ended in '89 has not been very good for him. And Mickey Rourke is a great actor, but the movies that we've seen, the last couple ones we've seen, Desperate Hours, this one, just doesn't work. Like I said, it's just a really bad meshing of buddy cop movies like Lethal Weapon or Beverly Hills Cop or 48 Hours, those type of movies. It just doesn't work. The writing isn't funny, the jokes aren't set up very well, the action overall is pretty mediocre, and it's just not a good movie. It's just not a good movie whatsoever. It's a really lackluster film, to say the least. So that's Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man for you. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Barbara Hershey and Sam Shepard in Defenseless. Another early film from director Martin Campbell. And Martin Campbell has been a good director, but really, I think GoldenEye was the start of that good trend that he was on, because he did stuff like GoldenEye, The Mask of Zorro, Vertical Limits, Casino Royale, Edge of Darkness, those movies that come after that. We're still kind of in the midst of those mediocre movies that he did, and this is definitely a very mediocre movie. That trailer just packs on so much story that you can kind of figure out you kind of have a good idea of what the twist is going to be, and it just doesn't... It's one of those movies that really does feel like a generic TV movie of the week type of thing. It just doesn't work. It's a movie that has a good amount of people in there, so great people in the cast, but just the script overall is very generic, very mediocre, and like I said, it just feels like a TV movie of the week, like you'd see on Lifetime. This isn't even good enough to be a CBS or NBC movie of the week. This is something you'd see on Lifetime, and it's not even that good. So, so yeah, that's my thoughts on Defenseless. So, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is True Identity. Well, you certainly couldn't make that movie today. I mean, wow, they really went there. Huh? It's like imagine a reversal of Soul Man, except there wasn't anything even remotely funny about it. I mean, not to say that Soul Man was not that funny, but at least Soul Man was at least trying. I'm talking about the one from '86, but even that movie is still very much out of date. And this movie just, oh boy, I feel bad for that actor, Lenny Henry. It felt like it kind of killed his career, honestly. Although I am reading that he looked back on and he said when he went to do this movie in '91, I guess America wanted their very own Richard Pryor. They didn't need him to pretend to be Richard Pryor, so he had to rethink his career after this. So I guess he did kind of look at this and say, "Wow, this really hurt my career, honestly." And I mean, he has had a decent career since then. I've been looking at his stuff right here and the stuff he's been in. He's been in a couple of the Harry Potter movies, Prisoner of Azkaban. He was in Penelope. He's in that new Lord of the Rings series that's coming up pretty soon on Amazon. So his career has at least taken a rebound since then. So that's a good thing. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be checking this movie out because I think I have a pretty good idea of how bad of a movie this could possibly be. And I mean, this movie does look pretty bad. So, yeah, True Identity. That's a thing that came out back then. So, with that said, let's get on to the next movie, and that is Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee in Showdown in Little Tokyo. Yeah, probably not a good sign if most of your trailer is complete with somebody just telling you what these characters are instead of actually listening to them. Like, seriously, you don't hear Dolph Lundgren, you don't hear Brandon Lee, and you think maybe it's just the trailer. No, there are TV spots out there that are literally the same thing. It's the same thing that these two don't talk in the trailers or the TV spots, so that's kind of a warning sign, number one, that this movie probably isn't going to be all that good. And I mean, these guys actually aren't that bad of actors. Like, something like this could work, but I don't know. The fact that that trailer just shows them not talking whatsoever, not having any interaction with each other, I don't know. I don't think this movie ended up being all that good. Even though I've seen some reviews later on that did say it is kind of an underrated gem. I think people that would like these type of movies, these martial arts type of films, probably will enjoy it, but it's not something I'm going to rush out to see anytime soon, so can't really comment more on that one since I haven't seen it. So that's Showdown in Little Tokyo. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, which is, quite honestly, the best movie that came out that weekend, and that is the Coen Brothers' Barton Fink. So it's 4 for 4 for the Coen Brothers. They made Blood Simple, Raising Arizona, Miller's Crossing, and now Barton Fink, which is a fantastic movie. It's a great showcase for John Turturro. It has a great cast overall. John Goodman, Michael Lerner, Judy Davis, John Mahoney, Tony Shalhoub, John Polito, Steve Buscemi, Frances McDormand. Just a phenomenal cast overall. And it is the Coen Brothers doing what the Coen Brothers do so well. They create these weird, sick, twisted elements of black comedy mixed in with some great thriller aspects, mixed in with a film noir, a horror film, just everything in here but the kitchen sink. And this is notable for being one of the early films that Roger Deakins worked with them on, because of course Barry Sonnenfeld, the previous cinematographer, went on to work on the Addams Family movie as a director. So in comes Roger Deakins, and what more do you have to say about his great works? This is another great cinematically film for him. I'm not going to stop that, but it's because you know what I'm talking about. But, yeah, really, I've got nothing more to say about this one that hasn't already been said already. It's a weird, twisted comedy, dramedy, black comedy, any way you want to put it. It's the Coen Brothers doing what the Coen Brothers do best. I mean, this is right when they were continuing to just putting out hit after hit after hit. This is another one of their great films. I mean, you can't go wrong with Barton Fink. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie here, and that is Pastime. I mean, every generic baseball movie that you've ever seen is pretty much in this movie. I mean, really, there's nothing more to really say about this one, but, yeah, it's pretty much every baseball movie you've ever seen. I mean, all the cliches are there. There's nothing really all that exciting story-wise or acting-wise. Everybody's doing the best with what they have to work with. But, yeah, I really got nothing to say here about this one. I mean, this is just pretty much every baseball movie you've ever seen, except not as good or as enjoyable. I mean, somebody might like it out there, but I certainly didn't. So, yeah, that's pastime. I literally don't have anything else to say. I mean, this looks like pretty much every single baseball movie ever made, so I've got nothing else to say here. So let's go ahead and move on to the last film that we have here, and that is Naked Tango. Just to give you kind of an idea of the premise here, a young woman escapes her elderly husband by swapping places with a woman who committed suicide. She believes her new life will be that of an arranged marriage, but finds it in fact a ruse to cause her to work in a brothel. The film plays the association of a tango with brothels and clearly alludes to the practices of the Zwi Miguel, white slavery and prostitution ring that was active in Buenos Aires early in the 20th century and was dissolved thanks to Raquel Lieberman. So you've got Vincent D'Onofrio, Matilda May, Fernando Rey, and Isai Morales in the cast here. I really got nothing to say on this one. All I know is that it was made by the same people that made Kiss of the Spider Woman, I guess, which was a pretty good movie. It had a great performance by William Hurt, but I know nothing about this particular movie, honestly. So, acknowledging that it just came out this weekend, and that's all I got for you. Naked Tango. And so on that note, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we wrap up the month of August with 3 movies: Child's Play 3, Beastmaster 2 Through the Portal of Time, and The Poet Must Die. I've not seen any of those movies, so it should be a rather short one next time around, unfortunately. So, with that said, thank you guys for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, check out the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another episode. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time, and until then, as always, take care.